Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you to everyone who's joined me already. I couldn't run this channel without you. America seems to be returning to its ways of actual some sense of normality with regards to gender ideology and sports. But here in the UK, it seems to be going further and further and further away. And also, some of the DEI focus of the police is also going in that direction. But first of all, I actually want to talk about Network Rail. Now, Network Rail have been working on updating how they speak to people, and this is rather interesting, I would say. They have now got a list of cancelled phrases. I'm not making this up. And I'm going to read to you what they have to now avoid saying and what they need to use instead. Seriously, I'm not making it up. Okay, let's put it on the screen. Passengers, you, purchase, buy, obtain, get, mother, father, parent, expectant mother, pregnant woman, pregnant person, mankind, humankind, people, workmanship, quality of work, manpower, lads, men, people, boyfriend, wife, husband, partner, spouse, normal, neurotypical, Christian name, first name, given name. Now, some of this language that they are actually looking at changing or have changed already, it's not actually a problem. They can go ahead and change that. That's not going to make any difference to me. I'm just actually more interested in why they are releasing a list of cancelled phrases without focusing on making things like the trains run on time and fairly decent ticket prices. No, apparently this is what we truly need. This is what we need to spend the money on. Cancelled phrases is more important because we don't want to upset the minority of people. Now, some of these changes are absolutely fine. I ain't got a problem with that. For example, passengers, purchase, obtain. It's not bad. It's absolutely fine. It's just words in that particular sense because we're talking about objects and things like that. But when you actually start to remove the gender in a gender-based languaged society, it then becomes a form of dehumanization. And that's not what the majority of people want from what I can gather. I mean, I certainly don't want it. I don't know if I phrased this particularly well, but you see, you don't get a pregnant man unless there are any biological pregnant men here that I am not aware of. The only pregnant men that you can technically get would be potentially pregnant trans men, but even that, grammatically, in the sense of the English language, doesn't actually make any sense, no matter how you say it. I think what is happening here is that part of the reason why they're doing these kinds of things is that they don't actually want to be cancelled themselves. They don't like the idea of being called out and running the risk of potential boycotts on their company. If that would happen, who knows really, but you know what I think of cancel culture. It is very likely this could happen. Now, they don't want those confrontations by those people who are trans or non-binary, and they don't want to mess in the middle of the station in that kind of thing. But this does not actually cater for the masses. I want to know where they actually came up with this idea. Does the actual public actually agree to all of this? Was this data that they actually went and collected and asked people? Did they actually put it to the test? Did they put it to the vote? Did they ask us? I've got all these questions surrounding this, but guaranteed, I can imagine that that is not what happened. I reckon they probably had someone say, no, this is what you got to do, and this is what they use the money that they receive in their funding to actually come up with. To come up with a list of phrases that removes people's genders. I don't want to be referred to as a person. I don't want to be referred to as neurotypical. I would like Network Rail to actually do what they're meant to do and make sure that the trains run on time. Exactly why do they feel the need to actually point out that someone is very normal? Because the definition of normal is different for everyone. Everyone has a different normality depending on the life that you lead. So I don't think it's actually a very fair observation at all to make about anyone. Now, whilst Network Rail are really working on the most important things with their funding, it would seem that the West Yorkshire Police are also doing the same, but in this case, it's now DEI. Now, here in the UK, I have to be specific. When you're looking at jobs here in the UK, when you're trying to fill posts, there are a certain amount of quotas that you've actually got to meet here in the UK. I have spoken about quotas before on this channel. I think I've addressed it in a Disney video where Elon Musk tweeted something about Disney's DEI, but it's not actually anything in any major detail that I have actually covered on this channel. However, the amount that they are going to be putting towards this, well, let's just take a look. Let's just have a look. So we have Head of Diversity, Equality and Inclusion at £91,536, Diversity, Equality and Inclusions Manager £57,252, 3 times Diversity, Equality and Inclusion Officers at £45,000, £924 per person, 2 Administrative Assistants with DEI and Positive Action at £30,912 per person, 1 DEI Comms and Marketing Lead at £53,412, 1 DEI Comms and Marketing Officer at £42,492, 1 Positive Action Tea Inspector Uniformed £94,272, 1 Positive Action Sergeant Uniformed £79,716, 1 Positive Action Progression Officer £45,924, 6 times Positive Action Ambassadors PCs uniformed £59,844 per person, 1 Equality and Diversity Trainer Police Staff £45,924. There are 6 posts that are filled by individuals from ethnic minority groups. 1 external provider of training. The final payment has yet to be finalised. However, it is currently £361,000. That is an awful lot of money. I really took the time in order to make this video with my dyscalculate brain. I sat down, practiced the numbers, and then spent actually half an hour trying to calculate it all. The actual total amount, and it comes to this, £1,430,638,000. I really cannot tell you how many practice attempts it took me to get that number out and say it in this one edit. Now, in actual reality, we do need diversity within our work. That much is very true. We are now a very diverse country, so therefore we do need it, but this is an awful lot. They opened up a lot of positions, and I couldn't even tell you what half of these positions are actually going to be doing in many respects. I'm guessing that some of these are obviously going to focus on pulling back racism, and that's okay. And how we treat people within the community, yeah, great. But this is an awful lot for these particular roles. It makes me wonder what other policing institutions, have actually received with regards to diversity, equality and inclusion funding. It raises questions. It really does, about other areas of the country. Now, I do not know how big the West Yorkshire Police Constabulary actually is. I don't hail from around that area. I know my area is pretty big, so I would be interested to know what their costs actually are. I think this is too much money. We have so many issues in our world going on in our country that I would actually rather them fund the police for. Our police are funded to go and arrest people for hurty words on social media, but I actually think there are better places where you can actually use that money, and some of this money that's going into these job roles. I wonder how much these costs would actually be for going out and arresting people for hurty words. I would be very interested in comparing that to the DEI costs. Of course, naturally, I wouldn't know where to start. I would have to get investigating with that one as soon as I could if I was going to make a video on that. But what I want to actually say is, can we actually just get back to policing that is actually good for this country? Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't chat about it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on Sunday, 4 p.m. for Doctor Who Sunday. Bye bye.